Hi guys, look what's come my way. Oh, before we get into this video, I just wanted to tell you really quickly that I have now gotten a job offer and I'm really happy about it. And they have suggested for me to start on January 17th, which is kind of, in kind of a long time, but it's because of the holidays and the person who will be my boss is going to be off like I think it was the 15th and 16th or something like that. And I think it's quite perfect to start, in the middle of the week. There's a lot of new things when you start at a new company. And my title will be Senior Advisor, and I will work with sort of IT related issues. There'll be a lot of like holding lectures, maybe innovation workshops, and it's, helping customers make decisions that have something to do with information technology. It can be, how to protect yourself from cyber threats. It can be AI related, how to use AI more effectively, how to, Internet of Things, how to, maybe use AI in your customer service, or it could be anything. So I have a lot to learn. I'm not an expert, and they know that. I'm a generalist, and I do have previous management consulting experience, and I also have previous experience in running my own company. And I think that I think that they like me as a person and think that I have potential, and I'm super, super grateful. I haven't signed the document yet, but they have sent me an offer, and all we need to do is, kind of go through it and sign it as I see it, but we haven't decided a time for that yet, but I'm really happy anyway. So I'll let you more. I might not be able to make videos like I do now. I don't know if they'll have opinions about me having a channel. I don't think so, because as long as I don't do it during working hours. Anyway, now it's getting really dark. I'm having problems with my computer. It just doesn't record. I use Photo Booth when I make my videos, and it for some reason doesn't record longer videos, and it doesn't have anything to do with the amount of space on my computer, because I've done an update. We'll see if it works. But guess what has come my way? I think I talked about in my previous video how intrigued I was by this house, Ormaie, Paris. This is a house that started by a mother and son in New York, but they brought the business back to Paris. Both of them are from France. I think he actually started his life in Thailand. So a lot of inspiration comes from those, the Thai islands and stuff like that. They use all natural ingredients, and I think these fragrances in general are so beautiful. They are not the highest performers. So if you're looking for like a really, you want to get noticed, you want a loud fragrance, something that will, last 12, 18 hours, this is not the house for you. I do find, though, that I've tried this fragrance 1812 to be, this has pretty good, like over average performance. This is kind of a sugary rose with some almond and heliotrope, lychee, clary sage. It's kind of an interesting mix of notes. It's really, really sweet. But it's not as sweet as some other fragrances. Like I think I said in my earlier video that it is, I tried it side by side with Sin and Pleasure from Born to Stand Out, and this one didn't feel sweet at all next to it. So that one's really, really sweet. And this one's kind of more sweet in a natural kind of way. And I don't find the rose disturbing in here, but I typically don't like rose that much. But this is an exception. And also the temperature here in Sweden has really dropped. And when it's really cold, I can take more sweet fragrances. I'll just tell you quickly what I wore yesterday. Amouage Overture Woman. And I finally learned how to dose this. I was going to try just one spray, but almost nothing came out. So I did give myself 2 little squirts. And I was cleaning around the house yesterday. I had 3 showings of the house yesterday. Still no bids, though. No one has bought the house yet. But it was the perfect level of perfume, and I felt really well perfumed, but it didn't go overboard. I wasn't choked out. If I'd been in a room full of people, I would still not have felt self-conscious about taking too much space. So I have learned now how to use this perfume. I don't know if I would have repurchased this, though, because it's really sweet and really potent, kind of myrrh, Middle Eastern style, leather, honey, maybe. I don't know where that big sweetness is coming from. I'm sure it has vanilla. It has some smoky note. It has like, what does it have? Like a Poponax, probably, like almost all Amouage fragrances. It has a big, long list of notes. It's not a safe blind buy, and it's not cheap. But I thought it would fill a void in my collection, and it does. And it's still kind of intriguing me. I still feel challenged by this fragrance. Every now and then I'll give it another go. I'm not ready to let it go. So it remains. But these fragrances, I have really enjoyed wearing. Some of them, okay, I'll tell you the one I didn't like so far. And it is called Les Brumes. And I can't remember what it means, but it has like citrusy notes and ginger. And it smells a little bit to me like a scratch and sniff book. To me, I don't like the way they've combined the ginger and citrus notes in here at all. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another chance, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Then this is probably my favorite from the bunch. It's called Papier Carbone, and I don't think it reminds me of any other fragrance. Like I could get this and not feel like I had two really similar fragrances. This, and I got such a nice compliment the other day. I was visiting a family member in hospital. He is it's my sister's ex, and they're not together, they're separated, but it's the father of her two children. He's very much still a part of our family because neither of them have met anyone new. So, and he got something really, really bad, like a kind of a murder bacteria that could have killed him. It started with kind of like a rash on his leg, and then it just kind of multiplied, and it kind of started spread in his skin. And they had to sort of open up his leg and kind of remove the bacteria. And he was on like 2 different kinds of antibiotics. And when he finally had to take an ambulance in to the emergency room, and there they were able to say, you know, that he was in a state of sepsis, which means basically blood poisoning, and his CRP level was 389. And had they not operated on him within 1 day, he would have been dead by now. So it was really, really serious, and we were all really scared. But I was by there. Now he's better. He's so much better. His CRP level's almost normal, like down to 19. But he's been in the hospital for like 10 days. But I was there to give him, to bring some anti-inflammatory foods. He and I are very much on the same page when it comes to what we want to eat. He's a little bit more of a vegan, maybe vegan style. And also he's lactose intolerant. So, but I know exactly what he wants. You know, he wants, I brought some food. And when I was there, I felt like I was wearing this Papier Carbone, feeling that I was super safe because this doesn't project that much. At least I couldn't feel my own scent. And then I was standing in this little I was helping myself. We had already had lunch, and I was making tea for us. And then there was this little there was like a little window, and there was someone from the staff, like a nurse or something, was coming by, maybe to grab a coffee for herself or whatever. And she was like 2 feet away from me because I was on the other side. And she was like, "Oh my God, your perfume is so beautiful." And she didn't ask what it was, but I just felt like she was like in heaven from the smell of me, which I was so happy about this. But I was also very surprised at the sillage of this. I didn't realize that it was actually the other people were smelling me. But I really got a kick out of that compliment. So I ended up wearing it out that same night. I was going dancing, and I wore it at night too. It's a beautiful kind of gourmand leaning fragrance. The inspiration comes from like the papers we used at school, carbon paper. It had a special smell, and you would think that maybe doesn't smell very nice, but it is a really nice fragrance. I get kind of a creamy sandalwood kind of feeling from it, but there's no sandalwood listed. It has guaiac wood, and it also has like gourmand notes like cardamom, coffee, licorice. It doesn't have licorice listed, but it says the inspiration came from licorice we used to chew when we were young or something like that. And also the smells of the library, like old paper. Let's see. It also has lavender, coriander, clary sage, ambrette, patchouli, vetiver. Like, it's not just gourmand notes. I mean, there's no vanilla, but it's sweet. It's sweet in a good way. I have really, really enjoyed wearing it. It's not a safe blind buy. These are expensive fragrances, but I really appreciate the fact that they come in 20 ml bottles. That's a really nice feature. Then I've worn, this one I've only just sprayed briefly. It's called Yvonne, and I think that this is a tribute to the grandmother of the son, who's one of the founders of the company. It's a mother and son. And she loved perfume, and this is just kind of a nice. To me, I've only sprayed it once, and the first thing I came to think of was that it smells like a designer, and it wasn't that interesting. But I needed to try it again. I'll get back to you on that one. It's a good fragrance for sure, but I don't know if I felt like I would pay this kind of price because these are pricey. And then there's one called Toi, Toi, Toi. This is a German expression, and it means kind of like break a leg, like good luck. You spit 3 times over your shoulder. I think you say toi, toi, toi. And there's like two little dots over each eye. That's how you spell it. And this is like a black pepper and incense fragrance with vetiver and some vanillic tones. It does, the closest thing in my collection that comes to mind, and I think they're somewhat similar, but they're not twin fragrances at all, is Sideris from Maria Candida Gentille. And this is also a great house because they have these 15 milliliter bottles and also really good price point, which cannot be said about this Ormaie. But they're all naturals, which I think is worth something in itself. I think they can be put into a different category for that reason. But this one is, Sideris is, I think I prefer this one slightly. It's a little bit more feminine, a little bit more floral, vanillic. If you want to explore incense, like you don't know if you love incense, you just want to kind of start getting your nose on some incense fragrances that are easy to like, I do really recommend this one. And I think Toi, Toi, Toi as well is pretty nice, but I think that one leans a little more masculine. It has the note of Nagarmotha, which I find a little bit difficult sometimes. It usually gets a little bit heavy, but this one is very soft. It is very soft fragrance. I just don't know if I love it, if you know what I mean. Then you see these little symbols. Each one has a little symbol, and this shape is like the top of the bottle. They look like kind of like children's, they're kind of like these Art Deco, they look like children's building blocks. They're wooden, the tops. They're pretty cute. Then I tried Livre Bleue, which is, in store, when I tried it, I was like, my God, this smells so familiar. I don't know why, but then I realized what it was when I got home, and I also read the notes. It is pretty similar to Cacao Porcelana from Atelier Materi, which I do think also smells really natural. I haven't read actually what this company says about using naturals. Maybe they're also all natural, but I don't think so. I think that they do use, it's a mixture here. I'm not sure. But this fragrance, they both have cacao, patchouli, and rum. And those are kind of heavy notes. So I'm not surprised that they are similar. Then there are other things in Livre Bleue. Has a little bit more, it has like iris and violet in the mid, but I think that they're kind of a little bit weighed down by these heavier notes. Benzoin, patchouli, vanilla. It also has lily and mandarin orange. And I think this one, Cacao Porcelana, has immortelle and has some other notes. So they're not identical, but I don't think I need them both. This one, I think some people compare this to Iris Malikhân from Maison Crivelli, and I can kind of see why. It has kind of that chalky, dusty, irisy, cocoa leaning kind of. The cacao, I think, I don't know if it's listed in Iris Malikhân, but I definitely get the same vibe. But this is so much more natural. I really, really prefer it. Then there's actually another fragrance that's not in this discovery set, but I have a sample since before, and I think I've talked about it on my channel, and it is Tableau Parisienne. It's like an orange juice, and it smells very much like Xerjoff JTC 400. Those, I feel, are so similar that I couldn't tell them apart in the dry down. There's some bitter orange kind of component that kind of disturbs me a little bit. I mean, I think if I had to repurchase now, I would probably get Tableau Parisienne instead, but I'm not sure if I would even get that. There's something disturbing in these fragrances, and I think it's that bitter component. It could also maybe be nutmeg. I'm not quite sure what my nose is picking up on there, but those are very, very close. What have I got left here now? Let's see. Oh yeah, 28 degrees is kind of their freshy. It's kind of like a citrus freshy floral. And I was surprised to hear that Sherry, the top note, she's in Australia, she feels that this is too sweet for her. I don't get sweetness. I mean, I do. After she said it, I could feel that there was a floral sweetness, but very, very natural. But the opening is like a blast of citrus, very much kind of like Cedro di Diamante from Perris Monte Carlo, except this doesn't have those really sweet florals. This one kind of lands on I think it has some pink pepper and some kind of like Middle Eastern style base of the perfume. This is such a beautiful, but this works more in summer. I mean, Sherry and I are in totally different, climate zones. I don't have very much time to wear my summer fragrances, and she doesn't have very much time in the year to use her winter fragrances. But 28 degrees, I think, is too light for me. God, is it even picking up on any color here? But it's a really beautiful, it does have a base of like sandalwood, patchouli. Let's see what else. I think it had the note of immortelle. That's right, it had the note of immortelle. But I can't pick it out in here. It doesn't bother me at all. So that's a really nice fragrance, but I probably wouldn't pay that kind of money for this kind of fragrance. I don't reach for citrusy fragrances so much. Then this Le Passant is really a really nice lavender fragrance. The inspiration came from, it had something to do with the father of the guy who's one of the founders, and him going on a bicycle through lavender fields. And this is actually one of the few fragrances that they've like marketed towards men, which I find a little bit weird because to me this is really unisex. I mean, it doesn't smell anything like Mon Guerlain, which is also like a lavender sweet fragrance. This is more like lavender. It does have some vanilla, I'm pretty sure, and tonka, but it's just like it just kind of brings out the lavender really nicely because I don't like lavender on its own. I really don't. I'm going to spray it just to refresh my memory. Someone's called it now a charismatic lavender. Maybe it's the house themselves. A delicate masculinity. Maybe. It's green, like this. The top looks like that. And the juice is really green. That's naturally green from the distilled lavender, I guess, stems. Let's see. Yeah, the green color emanates from lavender, the lavender that is distilled in Grasse, so that's where it comes from, and whose chlorophyll present in the stems colors the fragrance. This is really nice. I'm wondering though if I would buy it. It's really green. I think I have to wear it some more. I don't know. I think that the dry down was better because this I tried in store, and I really like the dry down. I guess when the vanilla and the tonka come out more, because it gets really herbal in the opening because of the lavender. Let's see. Did I have anything more to tell you about? I think that was it. But they use like all natural ingredients, but they do also allow themselves to use natural isolates. Like they can use like a molecule in that is natural, like the coumarin from a tonka bean, for example. You might not use tonka as a whole. That they allow themselves to do. But they don't use synthetic molecules created in a lab. I guess there's a difference there. And I was in a really interesting discussion about this thing with naturals. And I said I was going to talk about this in an earlier video, and then I forgot about it. And I'm going to tell you now what it was. I ended up in a conversation. Sorry, I just need a little quick sip of water. Okay, so I talked about the ruler and the jester created by this new Swedish perfumer. Or I mean, I think she's worked. No, I think these are her first perfumes that she's launched. I'm not quite sure. I think she's done work, for other brands and stuff like that, like, scenting skincare products and things like that. She's worked in the industry for a while. But she said she doesn't use all naturals, and she said, that it's not. There's nothing that says that just because it's natural, it's not going to cause allergies, or it might still be harmful to your health, and it has nothing to do with if it's synthetic or natural. And I'm not quite sure if I buy that completely. Like if I compare it with food, I believe that there is, like the Mother Earth or the universe, the intelligence of the universe wants us to eat, like if I say something foodish from the plant kingdom, like broccoli, they want us to consume it the way it is with exactly that amount of fiber, water, other things in there, rather than like try to extract something out of it and put it into a pill and, take it in that way. And I think a little bit the same here. I don't know. I just, the more natural, and then I think also things do tend to smell natural too. And I think that the really good example is like Guidance from Amouage. smells super, super strong in a not natural kind of way. And I think it's that Akigala wood, which just smells really, really synthetic. And I just can't match it to anything that would be, in nature naturally. And I don't know about this thing that I believe things go through your skin. I mean, I think some people say that the skin is the biggest organ or something. Maybe I can't remember the exact wording, but I do think that things go into your body, even if you just spray it on your skin. It's not the same as eating it, and it's not the same as like shooting it up in your veins. That might be a different thing than taking it orally. These are just my like very non-expert kind of thoughts. And I just wanted to summarize like why I'm willing to pay more for natural ingredients. There's several reasons. I think it smells more natural and just more, it just feels right, if you know what I mean. And I believe that it is better for my health to use the naturals on my skin than it is to use synthetics. This is just what I believe in. But I know that I was in this discussion with Ellen Dahlgren, that perfumer, and also another person who works in skincare. And she was on Ellen's side in this and said that naturals can be more dangerous to your health than synthetics. And the synthetics are much more controlled. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think natural is important? Do you care at all? Or what do you think? And if you are into naturals, I also wanted to remind you of this brand, which I find really inexpensive for what they offer, is Ormaie de Mars. Ormaie de Mars. 2 E's, Ormaie de Mars. I like their fragrances a lot, and they use all natural ingredients. So I'm into it, but I can't prove, that they're better in any way. But I do really like this House of Ormaie. The question is what perfumes, I will be getting of all of these. I don't know, but I think maybe Papier Carbone is my favorite. Maybe Livre Bleu, but I have Cacao Porcelana already. I don't need them both. Or 1812. But this is going to last me a long time, so I don't need this right now. So I don't know. And I'll definitely get a 20 ml bottle. I'm not going to get 100 because I don't use up my fragrances that quickly. And by the time I've used up 10, 15 milliliters, I'll be on to the next thing, Well, that was all for now, guys. Bye.